So if you have finished adjusting your colors on Photoshop, you now have the ability to use something called Adobe Illustrator. This is the only time I'm going to show you how to use this software because it's overly complicated and it's particularly good at one thing, but we are not going to use that one thing in this lesson. You're just going to use it for something called image tracing, which is a good way to tidy up messy prints. If you take one of your pictures that you have previously edited or haven't edited yet, it's up to you. I'd suggest you use an edited picture. So I am going to take this picture of this car. I'm just going to drag it into Illustrator. To find Adobe Illustrator, just search in the bottom left corner. It should be an orange and brown icon. Once you've got it in Photoshop, in Illustrator, you're going to notice it's absolutely enormous. If you grab the mouse tool at the top left, you can just shrink it down until it fits into the shapes that Illustrator sort of defaults to. Once you've got it to that point, you then want to use this tool here to change the size of the canvas. It's basically a cropping tool. So shrink it so it all sort of fits quite snugly, and then go back to the arrow tool and just click on this one last time. Image tracing is really simple, but it can take a lot of effort for the computer to use. Click on your picture, then go to Window, Image Trace, and you'll be left with this menu. It'll probably look like this to start with. Open the Advanced box, and what I'd suggest you do to start with is change it to color, and I'd probably pull the colors down till it's about 10 to start with. Once you've done that, click the preview button, press OK, cross your fingers, hope the computer doesn't set on fire, sit back, relax, and wait for it to load. And what that's done is it's really simplified the print. You might not be able to tell, but if I open the original, you can see the difference there. So the graininess is kind of smoothed out and it's created this really like odd texture, but it's quite a nice texture. I think it's a nice thing to do to your prints once you've completed them. You also have the opportunity to play with this. So if I wanted to really simplify this, I can pull the colors right down. And now it's only going to use 3 colors. So now I've got an even simpler version of my print. You can go all the way down to 2, but you have to let it load every single time, which is a bit of a pain. But it does create quite a nice, simplified, effective image. So those of you that have got really grainy images, it will help. If you take it all the way up to 24 different colors, it's going to have more detail and it'll be a little bit less smooth. So there's more detail on the wheel. You can also, if you want to, turn it to black and white, and it will give it a new effect. And you can play around with that until you're happy and you've got a design that you're kind of interested in. Once you have completed it, however, what you then need to do is untick the preview button and press trace, and this will solidify it. Once you're happy with that, you need to go to File, Export, Export As, change it to JPEG or PNG, so one of these two. And technically this is called a vector, so I'm going to call it car green vector. Change the high to 300 and change this number to 10. Press OK. You can go back to your website and you can pull the vector version in, and I can pull the original one in as well. The difference between the two of them is that this one has a lot more grain to it, and this one is kind of smoother and a little bit neater, a little bit more cartoony. It's just another effect. For some of you, this tool will be life-saving, and for some of you, it will be useless. Use it at your leisure.